Blog Talk Radio.
We are one Alabama.
Good morning, and we're in the early morning hours of Howcee Gospel Blog Talk Radio. Coming to you from 231 6th Avenue. One Alabama. One Alabama. Please contribute today to help Doug Jones make history again in 2020.
I was born in Alabama, and I've lived here all of my life. All of my education, from kindergarten through law school, was right here in Alabama. I grew up in Fairfield, home to one of the largest steel mills in the country. Dad worked here, as did my granddad and a lot of my relatives. Mom worked just as hard at home trying to handle me and my little sister. It was a different time back then, a time when Alabama didn't always put its best foot forward. It was often difficult times, one of great racial division, and a period where even as a young boy, I remember Alabama being ridiculed and looked down on by people outside our state. But I was determined to change that. You see, despite our flaws and sometimes checkered past, I love this state and her people. It's why I stayed here to raise my family. It's why I chose to serve. Over the years, Alabamians of goodwill and of every stripe worked hard to heal what had divided us and focused instead on all that we have in common. I was fortunate to serve as the United States Attorney for the Northern District of Alabama and convicted 2 Klansmen responsible for the 1963 bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church, the murderers of 4 young black girls, to get justice for the families, for our community, and for our state. But we also did much more than that. We got guns and drugs off our streets and made our communities safer. Alabama's come a long way, yet we still have a ways to go, and we still have politicians that embarrass us. But we can take deep pride in how far we've come together. The greatest honor and proudest moment of my life came on the night the people of Alabama elected me to the United States Senate. I have always believed that the people of Alabama had more in common than to divide us. We have shown not just around the state of Alabama, but we have shown the country the way that we can be unified. That's what growing up in Alabama taught me, that despite our differences, we all want to be treated equally and given the same opportunities, to be one Alabama. So don't let anyone tell you that Alabamians are so different that we will always be pitted against each other. No matter our race, our gender, our faith, our upbringing, we want the same things. A safe place to live and work, a decent job with a living wage and a secure retirement, markets for our farmers and our businesses, a doctor and a hospital we can choose, and medical care we can afford no matter where we live, clean air and water, and an outdoors we can enjoy, an education that equips our children with the tools to succeed in the years to come, a secure place in which to worship and the freedom to do so, a peaceful world and a strong military that can help keep it that way, a life of happiness and respect, a country to love and honor and to make even better when we must, just as generations before us have done. This is what Alabamians have always wanted, even through the tough times. Even now as our country struggles, rural, urban, young, old, people of different races, people of different faiths, one Alabama for everyone. That's what I've worked tirelessly to help achieve as your senator, and what I will continue to do as long as you give me the honor.
One Alabama.
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 For everyone.
One Alabama. One Alabama. Alabama is just like all of the states of this nation. Some have come forward than others. Some have made mistakes. Some have made great progress. But we all are struggling and to do what is right. Senator Doug Jones is one of those Alabamians with the rest of us in Alabama. Sure, Alabama has been put upon and put down and talked about. Still today, they're still doing it. But guess what? Everybody has been talked about. Everybody has been put down to some extent. Jesus Christ, God Almighty, our Creator, was put down. In fact, he was crucified. But there's one thing about Alabama. We are still, despite our difference in cultures and mixes and makeups and the ideas and ways of living and cultures, we are still one Alabama. So this time, in 2020, complete the circle. Make Alabama one Alabama again. Not to say that it hasn't been one Alabama before, but let us do this way, this time, with Senator Doug Jones. One Alabama for all Alabama. Join hands at the polls and vote Doug Jones for Alabama. One Alabama. Good morning and welcome to Howcee Gospel Blog Talk Radio. I have a very special guest on the line with me. It'll be Senator Doug Jones. He is running for Senator of the state of Alabama. He's already a sitting senator. Senator Jones, welcome to Howcee Gospel Blog Talk Radio. I'm in the studio with Mr. Greg Marshall as well, and we got about 10 or 15 minutes to talk to you. And you can start off by telling us who you are and what are you going to do for the state of Alabama to change some of the conditions and the situations in Alabama. You got the mic.
Well, Freddie, thanks for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. I really enjoyed my time in Monroeville a week or so ago. We had a wonderful town meeting with some of the health department, healthcare folks, and touring the hospital. It's just a great event. Appreciate that, and appreciate the opportunity to come on with you a few minutes this morning. I'm Doug Jones. I ran for the United States Senate. I was a former United States attorney in Birmingham. We did a lot of good things, and when I was U.S. attorney, we prosecuted a 1963 bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church. We chased down a domestic terrorist, Eric Rudolph, who bombed a women's clinic in Birmingham at the same time, just as I got the U.S. attorney. Practiced law in Birmingham, and then in 2017, when an opportunity arose, when Senator Sessions took the job as Attorney General, I decided it was time that I thought a lot of people that had not had voices in Alabama politics in a long time have voices, and ran in that election in December 2017 and won that election. And now we're up again. It was a special election, so I got to run again in 2020. And I have been, I think we hit the ground running. I put together and we're doing those kind of things I said I would do during the course of the campaign. That's work on really kitchen table issues. It's issues like health care and trying to protect the health care and insurance for folks who have pre-existing conditions. I've been a strong advocate of expanding Medicaid, and I've got a couple of bills pending that to give the states an incentive to do that. We've been working on workforce development, bringing jobs into this state, and doing those kind of things I think that are really important. We've been looking at a lot of different issues in different areas. For instance, in the Black Belt area, there's some real serious issues with sanitary sewage. So we put money in the appropriations bills last year to give people grants to help their septic tanks, to help sewage systems grow. We've been putting in money for community health centers. We've been putting in things to train doctors to get into these areas. And also to increase broadband. I know there in Monroe County, there's still a significant amount of your population that doesn't have broadband. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the new power. I mean, you've got to have broadband these days to survive. It causes a homework gap with kids. It causes a business gap. So we've been doing those kind of things, Freddie, that I think that just really hits home straight with the American people and the people of Alabama. That's been my focus. And, I moved over to Armed Services this year. That's a big committee for Alabama because we've got such an amazing array of military, and what we do for the security of this country is just stunning. I was in Huntsville yesterday at the Missiles and Defense Symposium. It's just remarkable what's going on at Redstone Arsenal, what's going on at Fort Rucker, what's going on at Maxwell Air Force Base, Army Missile Command. So that's been a big issue for me, too, to try to make sure that the military stays strong for us, for our economy in Alabama, and for the security of the country. So, quick nutshell, buddy.
Okay. Well, look, I'm going to ask a couple of questions that's been on my mind. Brother Marshall going to ask you a couple, but your campaign when you were first elected was an outstanding campaign, and you garnered votes from some powerful people here in Alabama, especially the black vote, black women vote. But this time, people from the South in Baldwin County, your opponent, it is a foregone conclusion that it believes that Alabama is going to go Republican. How are you, in your effort to get the vote out, going to change that or challenge that? And I would very much like to be a part of that, me and Mr. Marshall, to help you change that. But how are you reaching out to bring out a mass votes for the state of Alabama to keep this 25-year time, 20-year Democrat in their offices continually?
Well, I really believe that that people are going to vote about what they care about and what their issues are, and not just about on a party. And that's what we've been focusing on. I've been focusing on issues and things that I can go back to the people of Alabama and talk to them about and have a dialogue about. I was in Monroeville for a town hall. I was in Hamilton for a town hall just this week. We've been doing those kind of things to talk about issues. And that's, I think, the challenge. The challenge is for me, the challenge for anybody, is to just simply go out there and say, what matters most to you? Does it matter most who's in a particular party, or does it matter most to you who is standing up for what you believe in and those things that's going to affect everybody? And try to represent Alabama. Fred, the problems that we got here. And I think if you look back over my campaign and you look back over what I have done in the Senate, fine. Not everybody's going to agree with everything I do, but we have tried to do everything we can to represent one Alabama.
Oh, I like
one voice for everybody. And that's the thing that I think sets us, my campaign and me, apart from the other side. Well, you're already seeing nothing but division from the other side. Extremist positions on the right and trying to and just use Alabama and use these hot button issues to divide people. That's just not who I am, not what I'm doing. I'm trying to bring people together to say, we don't always agree, but let's try to find that common ground. Let's agree on where we can agree, disagree, and not be disagreeable about it, because that's how I think we progress. That's where I think we bring out vote that has been traditionally Democratic vote, but we bring a lot of people over, independent, moderate Republicans who want to change.
Okay, all right. Mr. Marshall, I have a couple of questions for you. Mr. Greg Marshall.
Yes, sir.
Senator Jones, first I would like to thank you for giving us a block of your time here this morning. And
yes,
also, I think you've proven that you have the right formula for winning in a red state. Like I mentioned, I don't think that's been done. I was talking to Brahab this morning. That hasn't been done in over 25 years. So whatever that formula that you use during the special election, we want to get back and see, can we use that same template, in 2020? Because the first thing, you must win. You must win here. Some issues that I would like to speak to you about is one of them that you have, and I read that you have already addressed it, concerning our veterans. I see where you had introduced a bill. It was a bipartisan bill from the other side as well, where you was going around and you was having the nursing homes in the rural area report back to you on an annual basis on the quality of care and life there. And some of the things that I would like to see amended to that, and I think I had mentioned it before, not only with the nursing home for the VA, we also need some further system with the VA clinics in the rural area. We currently have, in a lot of rural areas, we have they're seeing 15 to 20 patients a day, and they only have one physician there, and that's just unacceptable. So that's one area that we really, really need to start concentrating on. The people that take care of us, it's time for us to take care of them now.
Well, I absolutely agree with you. The issue with veterans is multifaceted. You've got health care issues, you've got mental health issues, you've got nursing home issues, and you've got another one called the widow's tax that I'll talk about in a minute. We started a lot last year looking